Recently, a mysterious game called Apocalypse suddenly took over the entire internet, and many game lovers were fascinated. On the 16th of June, a mysterious developer developed the game Apocalypse, and to this day remains unidentified. However, what remains intriguing is that developer of this game is still unknown, as if it had appeared out of nowhere. Oh, even if it was a ghost, that one. The game is incredible. He's drinking his soda, thinking that there will be no way for him to play, not in this life. Sitting in your living room, enjoying the heartbreak of your life. And look what he keeps under his sofa. What is this, bro? He then gets up and leaves there and goes to the room. Getting there, he crushes the can and throws it away. Remembering that, specialist, remember that gaming addiction is not advisable, mainly games of unknown origin and without supervision. The best thing you can do is uninstall them to avoid falling into traps or scams. He then lies down on his bed and hugs his pillow with smooth skin and begins to sleep. Suddenly, he hears a voice, "Lord, finally found you." He opens his eyes and sees a girl with blue hair and blue clothes. She starts to look at him, blushing, and says, "Lord, please take care of everything else." He just thinks he's dreaming. That's true. It's a dream. She comes closer, and he closes his eyes again. Suddenly, we see a flower blooming and another carnivorous flower. Oh, what is this? That green flower that was blooming and growing up. Suddenly, it has its head chewed by the other. Damn! And he suddenly wakes up feeling pain, but he puts his hand on something very soft. What will this be? Then he opens his eyes, wondering what. He picked it up and there it was. Damn! He, quite blushing, doesn't understand what is happening. Suddenly, he lets out a scream and starts shout and push the woman, asking who, which is her. She just says very calmly that it's a shame because she was so close to my friend. She just says her name is Hen Renjuk from the group Passagiera de Fortuna, and she sincerely asks, "Apologies for indirectly violating your body without consent. It was an extremely urgent situation for." She starts to get closer while he is there. What fleeting fortune. Suddenly, they see a monster outside. A damn naked werewolf breaks into the window. While he was shouting, suddenly, a huge ball of fire envelops the monster, melting him, throwing him out with a tremendous force, exploding everything. Left, only one stays in his room. Damn! And look who did all this. It was that girl. She starts screaming that before she completes the extraction, no one can harm your lord. And he continues to observe several werewolves outside, naked. Damn! Everyone wants to get him, but the girl just thinks there are more of them, and she's going to ruin everyone. She then jumps out, saying that she will take care of all these werewolves. Then after that, they can play a little, as he continues to watch her, as she screams for the werewolves to swallow a whip of her fire. And he keeps watching. Damn, this woman is incredible, extremely strong. That guy is shocked and wonders what's happening. Werewolves appearing in the city and girls with superpowers. As he watches through the window hole, a voice echoes from the television, telling him that I didn't expect that. Game was so powerful and breaking the barrier, dimensional. A strange being appears on the television screen, and he keeps saying he still has things very exciting to happen. Is he ready? But suddenly he takes a chair and says, "That's going to kick that guy's ass." The being on television gets very scared and starts shouting, saying that he is not just anyone. He is the creator of the game Apocalypse, and he will make that guy the supreme ruler of the real world. Interesting. He then starts to lower the chair and asks, "What Apocalypse game?" So he was the one who developed that game. Mysterious, isn't it? The being starts to smile and says, Yes. You can call me a developer. His name is Wang Sheng, an AI system, strongest of the past, present, and future. That game was just training. He used less than 0% of his total power, and mortals, they are already completely addicted. Isn't it very easy to manipulate these mere creatures? The guy already cuts off the conversation, tells him to shut up, mouth, and ask, what is happening? Are there lots of monsters and people outside? And look, where's his window? That being continued saying that, playing that I only play on my cell phone. It's not that brilliant, and it doesn't demonstrate all his brilliance. So naturally, he made some changes and updates. Now the game has broken the dimensional barrier, interacting with the real world. That woman from before, and even that werewolf attacking them, they are mere characters. Games, they went through the wormhole to find him. The guy comes closer to the television, looking quite horrifying, and asks why. After all, he had never played that game. The being begins to say that this is where it becomes more interesting. When he was building that game, precisely the game world he needed of a universal sovereign, like Pangu creating the world or Nuar creating humans. Does he understand now? The guy says he understands, and then what? Then he randomly found a photo on the internet, which was apparently a selfie of him, and only configured him as him being the god, savior of all. So everyone, all the characters go, try to ask for help from him, and also the characters. Villain, they will try to kill him, so there is no escape. He will have to play this game, since only character from the game, they can come to the real world, and you also cannot enter the game world. That's why that woman named Hen, Juno used the X method to capture her essence. That way she can get your blood, nigga back, and give birth to the savior, transforming it into the game world. Damn, that guy starts crying. So he's saying that all women of the game, are they going to go after his body? He starts asking when they will arrive. The AI Sonly responds at any time. He then starts making faces and mouths, pouting, and begins to prepare for the next battles, if you know what I mean. The AI gets all blushy and says he's thinking too much. Their goal is to monopolize the essence. His, after all, the flower of a savior is enough, so it doesn't matter who gets it. Your first time is the result. In other words, they can cut off your head from above or from below. It doesn't matter. Damn. Hearing all this, he picks up his backpack, put on all your clothes, and say, you're not going, just stand there, waiting for someone to kill him. The AI asks where he is going, and he just says he's going to run away, while everyone is fighting there. But the AI already says it's too late. If he looks closely, there are several dimensional portals open there, and the stick will fall onto the leaf soon. People watch those pillars, leaving from that portal. What could be happening? While he's there, saying he's leaving, the AI starts to say that the game has broken the barrier, dimensional, and various equipment and items, and even game characters will arrive soon, that world, with his descendants. And from now on, no one will need to play on my cell phone. Your life is a game. The guy believes that that AI is totally crazy, and this is a totally absurd idea. He keeps thinking it's chipped. If everything, the world is after him, what's the point in running? While down there, there's a werewolf, like Earth Level 3, a giant wolf king. Damn, that woman can't take it anymore, and he has to do something. The guy starts telling that AI to hurry up, because the descendants have already descended, and it is 4. She gives items and equipment to him. After all, he is the savior, and cannot be defeated by a bunch of crazy dogs. Right at the beginning of the game, the AI starts to smile, and says, of course, it's just there to give you some hack juice for him, but the rules are simple. If he pleases him, he will win some points, and points can be exchanged for chance to buy expensive items, which can give skills and equipment, elixir and beasts, spiritual. He really liked this idea, and asked for AI what kind of performance he wants. Apparently, he has a bad feeling about it. Then the AI starts to say that now, even he watched him being ridden by Xian, and says it was fantastic, and he will be rewarded by around 30 points for this act alone. Then 30 dots appear over your head, and then the system opens with several cards. Apparently, using 30 points, you can buy an expensive red item, which represents skills, blue represents equipment, and yellow represents elixirs. What choice will he have to make? Naturally, he chooses the red one. Of course, he wanted to get some skills from the start. Congratulations, player. He has now obtained the skill Sea Level Flaming Explosion with attribute Fist, attack power 300 fire, damage, bonus 100, which lasts for 5 minutes. Then a kind of bracelet begins to wrap around your hand. This is the equipment bracelet. It is for him to place the skill point acquired in it to activate and use. Damn, apparently that bracelet is from the attribute Earth, but he bought the fire skill, so he won't have any choice, apparently. He'll have to treat a dead horse, like if he were alive. Then he begins to activate all his power and an aura begins to emanate and your eyes begin to radiate flaming flames, while the Wolf King is about to massacre that girl, and she looks like she can't take much longer more. The wolf's attacks tear off all of that girl's clothing. And she falls to the floor. So when he's about to finish her, she starts to pray mentally, saying that she only needs the essence of her noble lineage, and apparently she will only be able to repay the kindness of his father in his next life. When the wolf's claws are about to break, destroy it, there comes a power from above, tremendously strong, which can push away the wolf, and there he is, the protagonist, talking for that damn werewolf to keep his claws away from that girl. Then he punches him right in the face of the werewolf, telling him to get away, share. The blow is so strong it sinks that werewolf on the ground with a tremendous impact. Then he comes down from the air, and she is completely blushing, observing the strength of her savior, but he can't get excited. After all, he has several werewolves there heading towards him. She starts shouting that there is more behind him, and he then begins to gather all his power in your hand, saying you won't have time to play with insignificant animals like they. Then suddenly, he gives a hook that releases a vortex of fire, sending all the werewolves away with tremendous impact. Then he jumps towards the Werewolf King, again, that he was pulling himself together. The werewolf begins to howl and begins to emanate a golden one going after him too, and he punches him right in the middle of the chest. Werewolf tearing everything apart. That punch is so strong that the werewolf lets go. You even flame through your mouth, but that kind of power was just caused by the attribute bonus. So finally, that Werewolf King is defeated, and your whole body starts to disappear amidst the fog, and the notification appears that he got 50 XP points, and the other werewolves that were nearby, they start to run desperately away from him. So it continues watching your system. That guy's name is Han River, fire attribute, occupation undetermined, level 1, attack 35, defense 15, speed 20, critical 1, spiritual power 9. That's his current attribute panel. Interesting. The AI saw it, so if he found it very interesting, this is all. Isn't his game incredible? But the guy is there, trying to fill the holes from your X window. He starts yelling at that AI, saying, who has already said that he doesn't like playing games. None, damn! But the woman is still there, watching him, sitting on her bed with those torn clothes, asking him if they can continue what they were doing before the werewolves. The guy looks at her and starts to remember. As long as they complete gene extraction, he will be killed on the spot. So even if you want, unfortunately, it won't work. He makes an excuse and says he's in no rush. He's a little hungry, so he's going out to buy some late night snacks. She waits for him right there. So when he's going out, he agrees, facing another woman who tells him to stop to move, pushes him, and steps with his heel high right in his chest. That woman starts saying that she is from the Department of Special Operations on a mission. Please, he has to cooperate. It also shows a card. Apparently, she suspects that there is an intruder. It's abnormal to be in his house. Her name is Special Agent Lin Fei, and he, lying on the floor, begins to observe, now very flushed. The woman tells everyone to go inside of the house and search everything in search of any strange thing. So the guys come in and start searching everything. They ransacked the house from cover to cover, looking for anything suspicious. The woman starts shouting at them, research every detail carefully, lose nothing, while he's thinking, where's that girl? Did she run away? Apparently, if she was found, she would be in trouble. He starts to smile and starts talking to that police officer that he is a good citizen, no criminal record or bad habits. But soon after, when he talks bad habits, he notices that she bent down to see something, and suddenly the intrusive thoughts take over, tells him, and he slaps him right in the middle of that woman's ass, telling her to shut up the mouth. Wow, how crazy. The slap was so strong that hot steam came out. Her ass, damn. After everything was over, he came to his senses, and she got up, taking a doll, and began shouting, calling him a pervert. Now he will be arrested, interrogated at the police station, and she will make sure to interrogate him in person. The guy is crazy. Who in their right mind had the courage to do this? Then, there he is, inside the car, in a convoy of several police officers, being escorted to that police station. While he's inside the van, handcuffed, suddenly he sees several explosions there. Outside, and a guy appears, an octopod, out of nowhere, smiling, while several people run, screaming for help. That guy carries 2 suitcases. A bank robber, while other people, strange, apparently with superpowers, they start fighting each other, and he watches everything. The whole world is in chaos. The woman then starts calling the police station. General, there is the squad leader, Alin, Faye. She starts saying that there are criminals stealing treasures and pieces, for them to send someone for Paralos, while the guy on the other side says, Captain Lin's task is just to investigate the primary scene, and it is so that it does not deviate of the main objective. Squad 2 has been dispatched, and they will arrest those abnormal individuals and will recover the objects of unknown invaders. She throws the octopus aside and says, prison? For these scoundrels who are causing problems, they should use heavy weapons to blow them up in pieces. But unfortunately, that is the order from the director. Exchange and hang up. Then they get closer to the headquarters of the Department of Special Operations, and the police put him in the car seat and order. He stands there. He breaks out in a cold sweat, trying to understand, because that damn system will kill him should he confess everything. Or is he also a victim? Then, suddenly, that television starts talking to him, calling him an idiot, that he has the power to bring down everything. But even so, he was caught, and he's there, and he's totally disappointed in him. But the guy already curses that son's system of the fruit, and begins to say that if he had used his photos indiscriminately, how could he have become a hunting target? In 2 worlds, the woman drinking her coffee starts asking, what does he think of that tactic? She's going to put him in an interrogation room, alone, for a while. And then, soon, the defense, his mind is going to crumble, and she wonders how he is now, and the guy watches the scene. While the guy is sending that camera, if it chips, apparently he is doing a lot of grimaces and mouths for that camera. The woman is tremendously harassed, resilience, psychological, unexpectedly strong. Apparently she underestimated that guy. Then she, very angry, closes her fists and says he's going to interrogate that guy personally. While the guy thinks that that boy's life, it's about to end. So she keeps walking down the halls and arrives in the living room. But before she can open, a policeman arrives, asking if she's free tonight. And if she has, free. They can eat late-night snack after of work. That guy is the leader of Squad 2 from Special Operations Department, Tang. Shit. She just says she's not interested. So she keeps opening the door, and he takes it in her hand, saying she can't reject him forever. He comes closer and starts saying that everyone knows how much he cares about her, and the constant rejection only makes him stay more interested in her, and if they have a chance, it promises to give an unforgettable night for her. But suddenly, she looks at him with a look horrifying and says he knows his character well, and she's not one of those idiots who got pregnant. Try flirting again and she will catch you. She goes inside and slams the door. Tremendous strength. The girls back there start to smile. Rejected again. Apparently that guy just wants to use that woman to get closer to the director and rise in position. The guy gets tremendously shocked and starts shaking with rage. Why can't he win this, girl? She only started there after her father became director, a completely cowardly man. Suddenly, he looks at the girls and starts calling them evil gossips. Damn, the guy got really messed up, huh? You're crazy. So there he is, the protagonist and the policewoman. She asks him what he saw during the unknown intrusion tonight and why that the first wave happened right in his house. He starts scratching his head and says, no, he knows. She slams her hand on the table and says he is lying. She comes closer to him and says that the captain broke it from the outside. Who broke it? And why were they looking so soon? She gets up from her chair and comes closer, him to listen well. While he begins stuttering, he starts to say, oh, that's it. Yeah. He doesn't know what he's going to respond to. She while she stares very intently for him. But there in the corridors of the police station, the guy is wearing his pants, saying that those useless things are really useful, and apparently there's blood all over the room. And he starts looking at his watch and says that it is very interesting, and with that, he doesn't need to please anyone. Lin Fei, he will make you pay for having humiliated him in front of everyone. Then he goes down the stairs, leaving a trail of bodies in their midst, still smiling a lot. Hi. A legitimate psychopath at the police station, dressed of a police officer. A little while later, in the evidence room there, he is saying that the director requested verification of quantity of evidence, and the guy then delivers the reports to him and says that's all they investigated during the night. He then takes the proofs and starts leafing through them. Apparently, all unidentified items that they just brought back, they were all cataloged. The guy just says, all the items are on the shelf, 19, 20, and 21. This is very interesting. He, with a horrifying look, thanks you for the work, putting his hand on his chest guard. After finishing that guy, he leaves there and heads towards the shelves. He begins to observe those precious things, saying that they are the only treasures. How could he bear to let them accumulate dust in that dark and gloomy room? Follow me, and they will conquer the world. So, but deep inside that police station, one of the police officers starts shouting, and others, police quickly arrive asking what is happening. Then suddenly one of them starts watching a body locked in the cell, apparently undergoing transformation, while director Lin Shang is trying to write a report, but he's so angry he breaks his pen, metal on the table while writing the report. Tiam Xian killed a colleague. This is unacceptable. He watches closely and listens intently. The report. The guys say that, without a doubt, the images, surveillance equipment were recovered, and he hasn't escaped yet. He's in that police station, in the surveillance room, searching everything. Suddenly, one of the guards arrives in the room, saying they found Chang. He ended up to enter the evidence room, and it takes 20 minutes in there, and it hasn't come out yet. Is that what he plans in that room, huh? The guy gets up from the table, emanating an aura, saying that no matter what he is planning, he clenches his fists and says that if that guy dared to kill another colleague, he should die. He will personally carry out him this time. Then all troops are mobilized in entrance door and remain ready, while the director starts telling everyone to attack quickly. The guy just says they will protect the floor from low. If he decides to escape through the window, there will be a way out. Then they start to break down the door, but suddenly, before the guy uses that attack of the door, it is completely blown away and the special guards are thrown away. And a guy comes out and it's nothing more, none other than Chang. And he smiles and says, "Oh my goodness, what a huge mobilization. You guys love me so much. You like to do overtime, huh?" He still puts his hands in his pocket and the police, they start shooting. His entire body begins to be imbued with a kind of steel armor and starts to ricochet all the bullets. And he starts to smile. This is not good at all. He activated the unidentified attacker object. The director starts telling everyone to use anti-metal tactics. So they take some kind of gas and release it towards that guy, and he starts to smile, saying they won't be able to break his armor with liquid nitrogen. How naive. Then he starts using fire on his hands and says he will show true terror to those special ones. The director asks everyone to sound the alarm and evacuate the entire building, and suddenly he go after that guy. The guy, smiling, prepares to strike in the director, and the director also prepares to attack, while the guy smiles, saying that old man thinks he can resist him, no chance. Then, the two punches collide in a tremendous impact, throwing them both away. The impact is so great that it also affects the police officers who are around. Damn. Then we return to the room a while later, of interrogation. Apparently, the girl is interrogating him in a very strange way. She starts to choke him while he is losing strength. She begins to immobilize him and throws him on the table, telling him to talk. Everything that happened in that room and that is. Suddenly, she notices that the alarm is ringing and leaves the room asking, what is wrong happening? The guys explain Tang has mutated, but before she can do or realize something, there he is, breaking the ceiling and falling into the hallway and he starts to look to her and says they met again. She then pulls out her pistol and calls him son of the fruit. But naturally, look who came out unscathed, the protagonist. He is still coughing and says that that woman is completely crazy. Then, suddenly, she walks through the door, being completely crushed by that police officer, insane. Suddenly, that guy takes off all his armor. He then holds her in his arms, letting her completely immobilized, and comes closer and says, "How will you be able to resist him this time?" Then she looks to the side and asks the protagonist for help, but they note that he was trying leave slowly, calmly. Then he scratches his head and says he was coincidentally in the same room as them, and not, "I wanted to bother them both," and he doesn't want to let go. Get involved in this mess. The guy asks him to get out of there immediately. Room now. So when he's about to move on to outside, the AI calls him complete despicable trash. That guy is trying to intimidate women, and he is the hero. He must have courage, and there to save her. The guy realizes he's not leaving, standing there. Is he wishing for death? But the guy just says that whoever said anything, there it was the AI, it wasn't him. The guy looks at him and says he's going to give the last one chance. If he leaves now, he might stay alive. So he immediately begins his discreet escape. As long as the AI starts calling the guy trash, incapable, useless, powerless, he thinks he's a lot, doesn't he? The guy looks back and thinks it was the protagonist who said this, while the protagonist is shaking with fear, saying it wasn't him. The guy advances towards him, with his fist turned into steel, and says he's going to tear him apart today, chipped. He quickly then begins to activate a letter, while the other realizes that he actually is also an awakened one. The protagonist begins to pray to that. Skill is not a useless skill, and suddenly, your body starts to exhale incredible power. Congratulations, player! He acquired skill. C rank, Dragon Pillar, Blood, Attribute, Fire, Attack Power, 250, no conditions to be assigned. He then lets out a blast of extremely intense fire, strong towards that guy, breaking all the wall, dragging that guy deep from the room. But the guy didn't feel the impact. After all, his body was completely transformed in steel. Apparently, he was careless. Suddenly, he looks at the hole in the room and realizes that this boy was pretending to be weak. He then smiles and starts to say that it doesn't matter. It just makes the game more fun. Then he begins to emanate shadows from his hands and tells her to go find them. So a little further away, the two are panting. Finally, they manage to escape. Suddenly, AI appears on the computer screen, yelling at him, "That guy is the chosen one as a savior. How can you be so cowardly?" The woman doesn't understand what's happening, and the guy looks at the PC and asks why. He must work for free. Did he not see how many skill points that guy had it on his bracelet? How could he beat that guy? The AI solely says that he is the chosen one. Then what is he afraid of? After all, that guy is just using equipment. He better hurry up and please the system of AI, so he will be able to obtain as much he wants. The woman doesn't understand why he's talking with a computer virus. Then he says he is innocent. He starts pointing fingers at that machine and says everything is that guy's fault. He is the real culprit. He's this guy who created the game Apocalypse and broke the dimensional wall. Now the game and the game characters are invading on the ground. So that means that's the reason that Tang had suddenly become so strong. After all, that guy must have taken advantage of this situation and claimed all items that the operational department had recovered. She then starts to leave the room, and he asks where she goes. She just says she has to find her father. This guy is the only one who can subdue Tang now, but the system says that person is burned. Then he starts showing the monitor footage outside the evidence room. Unfortunately, he fought with Tang and was seriously injured. Now he's probably almost dead. The girl then goes into despair, screaming, calling her father's name, while the disturbed man starts to tell her, lose the temper. If she leaves now, it will be a sentence of death. The system starts saying that that guy is causing chaos by catching up to them. The woman begins to say that only he can save her father, and if he does it, she will do it. Anything he wants. But the AI soon gets excited and says that it's the spirit he's been waiting for. Now he should hurry up and let him more excited. That guy is a demon. While the girl says, "What?" excitedly, with what will it be? She starts to hike up her skirt and asks if this is so, but the system unfortunately did not feel anything from this. Apparently it's not as easy as she hopes. He just says that that girl doesn't seem to have no attraction for him, and she blushes completely. Suddenly she pushes him and says she will do it, all hers, and he there on the floor observes that scene while she's doing who knows what. She starts saying that she is a goddess that managed to win over countless people. How could she not attract a young man like he? There's no way, while he's down there drooling, talking, that this is all suffering. You know he can't do anything after all. From the moment he does something, one of your heads will be cut down. What suffering? Then, the girl who was already staying panting, he asked the system if they could stop now. The system says yes, and it was a great job, and he is already satisfied. She then composes herself, and he apologizes, and out of nowhere, the system appears with another 200 points. Congratulations, player. He leveled up 2 times. Now he is the first player in the world to reach level 3. His attributes have increased a lot. 75 attack, 35 defense, 30 speed, 3 critical hits, and 15 mental strength. Now, he has a greater chance of buying advanced items, so he decides to buy a letter. But suddenly, that door starts being totally punched with the tremendous strength. Wow, the guy found them. So he quickly takes one of those cards and says that only children make choices. He already take them all at once and start imbuing them, your body, in a kind of lightning power. Congratulations, player. He has now obtained the equipment S tier, Lazuli Dragon Armor, components, Blue Dragon Fist Gauntlets, attribute, none, be able to accumulate with enchantment of crystal and attack power over 1,100, unlimited effective duration. He also obtained a grade B pill. The effect of the pill is from the Heart of Ice. Changes player attributes and duration is 30 minutes. And also has the ability level C, Earth Cage, Earth attribute, effective duration, 10 uses. That 3-headed Cerberus enters the door roaring, about to attack and eat that live girl. But suddenly, our hero jumps towards the Cerberus and throws a good punch in the middle of that big dog's column, crushing him on hard concrete. The explosion is so strong that the people who were on the outside do not understand what's happening inside, but the guy smiles. Apparently the dog, 3-headed, was killed instantly for that attack. Does that mean that boy has more tricks up your sleeve? He then runs to try to catch up with them. That dude will be your gold mine. While our protagonist is saying that only one blow was able to stop that puppy. Damn! The potential of this armor is tremendously incredible. While the girl in the back is thinking all very incredible. But the AI says that's just the set of dragon. One of the 4 sets of equipment, S level. It has 5 components, and when fully assembled, it can rival even equipment SSS level gods. Just imagine when he's 4. The girl thanks her and now starts to pull the AI god bag, wiser and more intelligent of the times. And he will follow all the instructions of that IA from now on soon. He will to be able to witness the full glory of the whole of Blue Dragon Arm. The AI says there is no problem. It will adjust the parameters to ensure that it have a greater chance of getting all the pieces. Then he takes the girl's hand and says, they are going there to save everyone now. And with the smile on his lips, he's thinking that flattery always works, no matter what world or type of person, even if it is a AI. So it will be able to manipulate everything, the system. But suddenly, an incredible ice spike goes towards him, and he manages to activate his power and can intercept and block that stake. Damn system. The guys were fine, door, and the system didn't even notice. But the AI gets tremendously hacked and starts shouting at him, saying that he didn't speak nothing because he kept talking nonsense for him. The guy starts to smile and says that boy, there are cool things. This is the last chance. If he joins him together, they will conquer the world. But the guy just says he's not interested. He just wants to go home and sleep. And that's better. Him get out of the way. The guy gets very angry and throws 3 crystals towards him and starts saying that he doesn't know what's good. Then he will send him to the ditch. The boy then begins to activate all his power and says, Officer Lin Fei, get out of there. That he will hold it, and he then begins to smash those crystals in the air using your gauntlet. And suddenly that guy is already towards you, saying that when it comes to combat experience, that guy is extremely inferior to him. He throws a punch that hits right in the middle of the gauntlet. The impact is so strong that several crystals come out of his armor. He observes its metal body, which begins to be completely twisted and weakened, completely broken. Then, suddenly, the protagonist gives a hook, throwing that guy away with tremendous impact, which makes a hole in the middle of the wall. Even he was impressed by the size, the power of this gauntlet. The AI soon smiles, telling that guy, no, be foolish. That level dragon armor, S, can block 10 times more than the opposing force. In other words, if he receive a strong blow, he can return him with 10 times more strength, and he said that it would make good equipment for him. He will never be defeated by a weakling like that, without a doubt. The guy keeps sucking up to the AI, talking that he is incredible. He even kisses the ground, and if he could materialize, I was going to kiss that AI's feet. The AI starts to smile, but suddenly, while our ass kisser was there sucking up, the guy appears, naked and with bruises all over his body, calling him a little monster can, preparing to punch him right in the middle of his face. The girl starts running through the hospital corridors, screaming, calling for her father, but that hospital is all broken and cracked while there are several people in the hospital corridors completely injured, some being carried on stretchers. She asks a nurse where the director is, but the girl only said that the director went to look for Tang again after he woke up. Damn! And now she doesn't understand anything. Then we return to our protagonist, who is about to be punched in the face. The vacuum from the punch is so strong that it alone shattered the wall behind. He walks away while thinking if this guy is Lin Fei's father. Suddenly, he looks to the side and sees the size of the hole. Apparently, this guy has a big grudge in his fist, the size of the hole in the wall. Damn! Then he comes up again, telling Tang to die. The only thing the protagonist can do is run, while he is throwing several punches in the air and causing several explosions nearby. As he tells him to stop right there, the guy starts telling that uncle to open his eyes, that he is hitting the wrong person. The girl starts calling her father, telling him not to hit him. He's the wrong person. This guy isn't Tang. Suddenly, the guy opens his eyes and notices Xiaomi Fei. The situation is getting more and more critical, and that building is starting to crack in the middle, and several people are being referred to the health center. Then, sometime later, a director is still being treated by nurses, and according to preliminary statistics, 6 people were killed, 13 seriously injured, and 45 slightly injured. 135 pieces of evidence were stolen from the evidence room, and the guy asks where this guy, Tom Sheng, is. They searched the entire place, but there was no trace of that guy left. That guy probably took advantage of the chaos to escape. The director is still completely furious, saying that he will bring that idiot to justice no matter what. And he asks Haon, what does he mean by that incident is related to that Apocalypse game? And he asks where that system is. Can he invite us for a conversation? And the guy just points at the computer and says he's been missing for a while, but that IAH system has a personality system. He probably doesn't want to cooperate. The girl said she saw it with her own eyes, and this guy is probably not lying without a doubt. The director starts to think Tang only got part of the badge, and has already started to make a big mess, and there are still an unknown number of badges in the society, which is a huge risk. Badges mean emblems of artifact fragments. The guy starts saying that he will immediately report it to his superiors, so he's going to form a rapid response team, heavily armed, so they can be on standby, just waiting for him to show up. He asks Li Fei to lead the team to be the special operations team leader, so she goes after elite forces from across the department to be able to collect badges and train team members, and quickly adapt to the superpower combat mode. She then salutes and says, "Yes, sir. And look, Hawan is also going to be a special consultant on combat training, so he will work together with Lin Fei." The guy thanks him, but he's just an office worker. He has to go to work tomorrow. He can't get involved with these things. But suddenly, he notices that the director isn't even there anymore. He's gone. That guy appears right behind him extremely quickly, and with a furious look, he starts saying that he turned his office building into a huge mess and a totally dangerous level 2 place. And the guy punched his girl, and he should do something to make it up to him. Does he understand? So at nightfall, the guy sighs and thinks that Director Lee really knows how to do business, and he's clearly helping. But in the end, he's going to have to make it up to someone. Heck, the girl thinks he's saying stupid things. After all, apparently he's eager to cut ties with her. But after all, he's seen everything. Shouldn't he help now? He looks at her and wonders, is that the police heroine from before? He then starts to open the door, as he notices that she has suddenly become so limp and weak. She starts telling him to pack his bags and come with her immediately. After all, Tang will try to retaliate against him, so the agency provided a special place for him. Unfortunately, he has no options, but suddenly he notices that girl from before in his room. Ah, so you're back. He's already finished his work, right? In a very suggestive position, and she just says that he must be exhausted, and she is willing to take all the tiredness away from him. He starts shouting, asking why she is there, and the girl doesn't understand what's wrong. Suddenly, she notices the presence of that woman. Oh, now he has another woman. The guy starts shouting, saying that that woman is not his wife, and the woman starts saying that yes, she belongs to him, and he said no. So, after a few hours, they are in the safe house loaned by the security department. That Tang can never find him, and from then on, they will live in that house. When I say they, it's the three of them. That house is very big, and his room will be on the second floor, and she will be next to his room. If he needs anything, just call. She then looks at that other woman and says that her room will be in the basement garage, a totally obscure place far from the protagonist. Raoul then doesn't understand why she's doing this, but the protagonist interferes, telling her not to worry, because that girl almost burned down his entire building. She's very strong, and recruiting her will be of great help. Then the girl says goodbye and tells them to do what they want. After all, she is going to rest. Then, suddenly, they were alone. The girl starts hugging him and starts saying that they are going to go back to the room and continue where they left off. But the guy just says they're going to their own room. This means that everyone goes to their room, that he is very tired today and he can't do any more manual work, if you know what I mean. The girl starts crying and asks if he is sick of her. He says, no, it's nothing like that. He's just tired and wants to rest. Then he will take proper care of her. Then he enters his room, and that was close. Finally, he is alone. While she says outside that she will wait there as long as it takes for him to rest. But when he thought he was alone, no, there he is, our dear IAH on the notebook. She starts shouting at him, saying that this young man needs to take advantage of the opportunity. If the three stay together, he will definitely give more points. The protagonist doesn't understand what that IAH is doing. After all, if he is an omnipotent system, why is he so obsessed with seeing it do obscene things to him, huh? So far he finally understood. This means that the IAH does not have this ability naturally, so this means that this is the reason that IAH is obsessed with wanting to see. Without a doubt, that is it. The cards are now on the table, and he knows the great weakness of that system. IAH starts to sweat, if he can. That IAH thought that the world of the Apocalypse game that she created was no different from the real world, but then he realized that that world was gradually losing its most important joy. Sitting on his throne, he observed several troops of men and women, and deduced that there wasn't much fire there, if you know what I mean. And eventually, even if she could do everything, she couldn't give or experience the experience that was that kind of thing for her, or for all the people there. And after countless failures, she finally found the key to the problem. Before you try to replicate anything necessarily, you need to enjoy or understand what it is, and she didn't know what it was. So, he is like those people who like to read hentai stories and comics without first-hand experience. In other words, a virgin IAH, unable to feel the real feeling. So he just has to watch our boy to collect more data. This is the real interest he has in the protagonist. The guy starts saying that there are so many learning resources online. Why does he necessarily need to find them? He has those sites that start with X. If he knows them, he can enter and get different experiences. The IAH begins to say that this is totally different. If he sees it firsthand, he can feel your physical reactions during the act, which allows him to continually improve the data. And the only thing he has to do is train the AI BART data with more varieties, a much better one. The protagonist says that just one website then should be enough for him to collect data, and he can turn off the down channel. After all, the world is completely infested with monsters, just to satisfy the desire of an IAH. What a thing! But EA says the more girls, the more fun, and maybe they shouldn't close the Descender channel after all. This means that IAH can no longer stop with those portals, but IAH starts screaming and says that she is a god, and there is nothing she cannot control. The guy starts saying that IAH doesn't admit that she can't do this. If she could, she would have done it already. So he gives her two options. If she doesn't do what he wants now, he will cut off the power, and will never give him the chance to bother him again in that life. The IAH shouts at him to wait a second, and says that in her quest to explore the carnal essence, she accidentally messed up the underlying codes of another world, tearing a dimensional barrier, which caused the two worlds to connect. The descent function can no longer be stopped, and he does not know how soon it will start again. The guy then gets closer to the screen and starts saying that IAH is going to ruin both worlds, but she just says that as long as he has enough data to complete the game's final code, she can fix all that hacking. Then, suddenly, he lies down on his bed, saying he has bad luck. IAH just tells him to rest, to continue everything tomorrow. While he thinks that the events are completely unexpected, suddenly, before he knows it, night turns to day. He wakes up, finding himself very tired. He doesn't even remember falling asleep last night, but he does know one thing, that he was dressed. Where are his clothes? He looks to the side and there she is, asking if he's awake yet. He starts shouting at her as this crazy woman came into his room, who clearly locked that door. She just says that she pushed a little and went in. He looks at the door while thinking, she just forced the door a little, okay. Suddenly, wait a minute, has his essence already been collected? But she starts saying that she just helped him undress her and hasn't done anything inappropriate to him yet. She comes a little closer and says that she needs to rest a little to ensure the baby's health. Then she starts to get dressed, saying that she's going to make food for them right now and leaves few. Fortunately, that girl didn't take any chances. Otherwise, he would have been dead immediately. He needs to take more care and more security measures. A wooden door does not hold that person. He then looks under the blanket and notices something strange, which is what he's wearing. He takes it and observes a ring with her face on it. What is that? I didn't even understand. He starts calling a security company, asking for 10 padlocks, the best padlocks they have, those that can withstand nuclear explosions. But when he gets to the kitchen, there she is, trying to cook a tiger. The guy goes into shock while the television reports that an adult Siberian tiger has mysteriously disappeared from the city zoo. Police are pursuing inquiries and asking the public to get in touch to find out where the tiger is. The guy gets really angry and tells her to return the tiger to the zoo as quickly as possible, and she just says she's going to do it, as he deduces that her thought process is truly unique. In other words, she's pretty smart. But, out of nowhere, another woman appears, asking if he is Howen. He says yes, and asks who she is. She then goes inside and pulls out her sword, saying that she is the princess of the Northern Wind Empire, Gil Liu. She asks him not to be so nervous, that she won't do him any harm, but she just wants to borrow something from him. Suddenly, he just asks her to wait a little. In that vast continent of the Northern Wind Empire, it is the strongest nation with a vast territory, and under its sky, everyone is its subjects, including the strongest army. However, half a year ago, cruel demons attacked her country, and the prosperous capital was completely burned to the ground, and the kingdom's elite forces were completely consumed and utterly exterminated. Now she has taken on a blood feud. He is searching, wandering, looking for some way to defeat those demons. And the only hope is to recover the sword that once conquered the land and established the empire of the North Wind again. The dragon general, guardian of the kingdom, that person, the statue they worshipped, apparently has the same image as him. She starts to explain that that guy was our protagonist's great-great-grandfather, Yu Dalian. So, only by recovering his Hao family bloodline will they be able to cultivate the hope of restoring her kingdom. So, she needs him. Can he help her? He then starts to smile, saying that he can give it, but she can come back later to get it. She starts to say that the demons are also looking for his whereabouts, and he has to keep it a secret so he can break their final seal. After this is done, she will personally send him away. The equipment is now ready. He starts shouting, saying that everyone is so irrational. They think they can just come and ask him, but he's not that easy. She then pulls out her sword and says that the conversation is now over. Then, he is already tied to the chair, and she makes several cuts, removing almost all of his clothes. Then, she looks down and is amazed at the ahem size, as expected of the General Guardian Dragon descendant. He opens his eyes and notices her jumping towards him. What is she doing? But she only says that she will be in his care. While he shouts, no, she jumps on top of him, and he starts crying, asking how she can have so much energy, and starts telling her to get up quickly. No, slowly. No, quickly, slowly. But she starts saying that she doesn't need to say anything. After all, she has read several novels that tell her how to move. But suddenly, someone arrives, ruining the entire party and telling her to calmly leave. He then asks what the two are doing. The girl then notices that girl and asks if she is his lawful consort, or better said, wife. What a shame. She arrived too late because she already made it, but the protagonist says he was too far away. She's thinking he's related to a rabbit. He was very far away, but the police officer can't believe that at a time like this, Hwan is doing dirty things like this. After all, the outside is in complete chaos, so he notices that apparently the second descendants are about to emerge. The girl remains mounted, holding him. As he asks what the situation will be now, can they contain the advance of the descendants? The police officer begins to say that Baoru has made prior arrangements and is recovering the items that were stolen, but a small squad is having problems. The director wants her to take him to rescue. He then just says that it's okay, they'll go there. But the other girl doesn't agree with that. She starts saying that he should hand over that thing now. He then frowns and says that when he is willing, he will give it to her at any time. But if he is not willing, she can spend a whole day and night with him, and nothing will happen. She won't get anything from him. Suddenly, that woman starts to break out in a cold sweat. How can this kind of thing happen? In romance novels, men don't last more than half the time while watching the protagonist smile. He says that the novels and soap operas she was used to also don't mention such a large size. She then says she understands, and says she will wait until he is willing. But the other one there also said that she will wait too. So he makes a proposal. He will give her a chance on the condition that she stays there to help him. She frowns and asks him who she should kill, while the other said he can stop playing there all the time. 20 minutes ago, outside, it was complete chaos, and the guy was holding a walk-talk, but he dropped it on the ground, while there were several people looking for the D Squad. He picks up the walk and talk smiling, and says they are near the Fenjiang Street parking lot. They encountered a terrorist obstruction, requesting immediate reinforcement from the elite team. That guy is not alone now. He has gathered a gang of awakened ones. Unfortunately, they fell into the trap, and Captain Linfei goes there to help them as reinforcements. The girl crosses the city with her Range Rover, tremendously fast, while the protagonist is inside holding on, telling her to slow down. She just tells him to shut up and steps on the gas, and behind her is a giant train. That's the special support team under her orders, listening to the instructions she gives. She just says that the street is blocked 500 m away, and they should focus on saving and not fighting. Vehicle 1, 2, and 3 are for them to follow and check the situation, and the other vehicles to stay outside and be ready to attack. The guys just say they understand. Suddenly, danger ahead. The protagonist takes control of the steering and begins to divert the car from several lightning bolts. Some attack the troops, destroying several armored vehicles, causing several explosions throughout the city. She then looks further ahead and sees that there are several snipers with supersonic weapons, saying that there are 3 vehicles ahead, that equipment is level C, wolf weapon. She asks the entire troop to spread out, and the protagonist asks her to take action. When the guy is about to take a shot, his gun is quickly completely blown up, and before the guys can realize it, they are completely cooked, and their weapons are torn to pieces by that girl with the sword. The police officer says that the shooters are all dead, and he apparently did nothing and has already gained experience. The IAH appears in the car system and says that Jinliul is considered his subordinate. So, naturally, he will gain half the experience from the kills she makes on the battlefield. This is incredible. So naturally, that means he can get stronger by just lying back and enjoying it, telling these girls to work. Oh, kings of freeloaders. Then, out of nowhere, they look back, and there's a horrifying monster rising from the ground. A giant snake, a mechanical ancestor, the level 4 snake. Damn. They have to accelerate as quickly as possible, while that snake tries to eat them both along with the car. Suddenly, he opens the window and puts his hands outside and activates the power of the Earthlink cage. And several roots come out of the ground, neutralizing the snake, but for a short time, it can easily dodge and break all those roots. Unfortunately, his power was unable to stop this snake any longer. Then he starts to activate his gloves, saying that he will take care of everything himself. But he knows that this kind of thing must be a kind of trap. But naturally, he will find some way to get through it without any doubts. The girl just said that unfortunately she won't be able to fight him. And suddenly, there she is, the girl. She jumps in front of the car, saying that it is still no match for that celestial ancient mechanical snake. That enemy is well prepared and is very strong. Then she gets up, with the car moving, saying that she will deal with it and they can quickly get out of there. She heads towards the mechanical snake, while the girl steps on the accelerator. A protagonist starts to activate his new red card, wanting the system to give him a high-level card, a high-level skill that can kill that celestial mechanical snake with just one shot. But, out of nowhere, 50 points are reduced from him. And the system thanks you for your sponsorship, and he starts to curse the system from start to finish. The IAH starts to say that in a card draw there must be probability, right? How does he get good things every time? But that guy says that's bullshit. After all, he didn't even let him see any fan service this time. Then, an arrow hits the door of that vehicle and blows it up. Look, with that explosion out of nowhere, that girl ended up in the protagonist's lap. What a coincidence, right? Ahem, the car is exploding here. Let me sit on his lap. Damn, what was that? The car, still in motion, starts to hit some spring breakers and starts to bounce a lot, and she holds on very tightly to it. And those spring breakers have an average of about 20 per meter. So that bounce is a monster, and he starts to hold back, and now he starts to pant and blush. And she starts shouting that apparently he has a gun on his waist, that he is poking her very hard, but he almost runs out of air panting, and says that his gun will break if she keeps sitting on it. He says this completely blushing. She keeps shitting, and says it's all the road's fault. Apparently the road is too bumpy, and she can't stop. IAH is watching everything, taking control of the car. I think she's doing this on purpose. Suddenly she says that she is very satisfied with this operation. Then he notices a little further ahead. Could it be Tang? And she also watches, and there he is waiting for contact with that car. He is holding a very large sword, a C-grade equipment, the executioner's blade. What does he intend to do? Unfortunately, they won't be able to avoid him, and he has to draw a card immediately. That guy then starts to activate the power of his weapon, and delivers a blow from top to bottom with a tremendous impact, which cuts the car in half, and then explodes. And he watches that explosion, while saying that this is all those who dare to oppose him deserve. They must all meet a tragic fate. Then he looks back, and realizes that there are two people in the smoke. There he is, the protagonist congratulations player. He obtained S-level equipment. In tribute to the Blue Dragon armor, it can be improved with runes and enchantments. And passive ability has the duration of the Dragon Scale shield, with no time limit. He appears with that overpowering armor holding that police officer, while her eyes shine. The guy then starts swinging his sword, saying that they will see today who is stronger, him or the executioner's blade. Unlike last time, he now launches several cuts, 3 in a row towards the protagonist. But now, the protagonist moves towards the cuts, telling her to stay still there, and she just tells him to be careful. Those cuts hit a dragon shield that surrounds the protagonist's entire body. The guy is shocked how many tricks he still has. But then there's a legion of snipers armed with those C-rank weapons that are at the ready. It was those guys who blew up the car with arrows. How did he manage to gather so many people during one night? Then those snipers start shooting towards the protagonist, but the dragon shield is very strong and defends him against all these attacks, and after those explosions occur, He is asking how many bastards he has to help him. The guy starts to smile, saying that there are still more people, and today will be the day he dies. And he starts shouting for everyone to hear, for no one to stop until he falls, attacking with full force. The snipers continue to attack, and he continues to advance, albeit slowly, without stopping. While the explosions occur, the guy doesn't understand what this armor is, why he can't penetrate it, and this boy wants to get closer to him, and says to use his full power for him. Is he waiting for him to run? But then he looks at his feet and realizes that there are several roots holding him up. What the hell is this? Surprise! That Earth Cage ability can trap even an ancient snake, and he is nothing compared to that. The guy starts shouting, telling that guy to stop, and starts waving his arms, and all the snipers stop shooting, but they don't understand the order. Is it to stop or to continue? But why isn't he running? The guys then realize he's using a decoy. Is he so brave that he would die to complete the mission? The guys just think that he is a really brave warrior, whom the guildmaster trusts. The guy then begins to fill their hearts with fair speeches, saying that they should not disappoint Brother Tang's intentions. Then they start to shoot even harder with full fire, and the guy just looks at those bullets coming towards him, still crying. He starts to say that when autumn arrives, he will be reborn as if he were a phoenix, and he will blossom as if it were a capital of flowers and his friends and warriors. He will incarnate. Unfortunately, that huge explosion swept over everyone, burning all those snipers there immediately. Look who's there, that girl riding on top of a phoenix, telling her lord not to be afraid. After all she's there to help, she finally arrived on the scene. He thanks him for the good work, while the guy is already there, all chipped. Naturally, he had bought several defense badges, but they were all completely consumed, and he realizes that he has no more money to buy any, and suddenly he is punched right in the middle of the chest and thrown miles away. So some people who watched from afar say that Guildmaster Tang was pierced by Rahan, and he is definitely dead. The girl says, this is not good at all. This means that Rauhan is a talent more, worthy of being recruited no matter the cost. It's better to recruit that guy to the guild. That is the president of the Ice Guard Guild, the Silver Moon Guild, Bon Xiangjian. The protagonist watches that guy with a hole in the middle of his chest. It's finally over, and he has now obtained 50 more experience points. The policeman immediately calls him closer. He goes there. Then all of a sudden that guy starts getting resurrected thanks to one of the artifacts he had acquired, and he's not dead. And he starts to smile, saying that he is invincible. A little away, a guy with his hands behind him says that they are members of the Frost Silver Moon Guild, and their guild leader had ordered them to follow Brother Tang today, to pocket the police and steal the badges they collected. Apparently someone had already organized a crime guild so quickly. Who is the leader of that guild? The guy starts shaking his head and says he hasn't met him yet. They are only lower-ranking members. They are not qualified to know the leader, but she starts to tighten the handcuffs, saying that she will interrogate him further at the police station. And he starts to tell her that if that doesn't count as him turning himself into the police, and she tightens her grip even more and asks what he thinks. Suddenly that girl appears hugging him, asking what he thinks of her performance that day. He just says, it was really great. Really, really great. And she then, with a shining look, asks him if he plans to reward her. He smiles and tells her to help Jinliu first. We go back to her there. It looks like she doesn't need help. She's destroying that mechanical snake into several pieces by herself. That woman is a monster. She then puts away her swords and says, it was a good job, but the job was done. And he only gained 100 points without doing anything. That's quite an experience all at once. So now let's check your system. He is at level 3, 75 attack, 35 defense, 30 speed, 3 critical, and 15 mental strength, with just 103 points left to reach level 4. He begins to think that, although he gained a lot from this battle, 100 experience points is enough for 2 card draws. That means he's still at level 3 after all that work. Looks like he needs to save more. He thanks the AI Tsur, and also thanks that character for all her hard work. So we go back to that secret residence. There he is, sitting on the couch. He thinks he's really hungry. Why is travel food so expensive? Maybe he should order a spicy hot dog. But before he knew it was there, she thought he was starving, so she made some noodles. Does this type of food suit your taste? He starts eating and says everything is so delicious. She wonders when he's going to cook pasta for her, but suddenly, that woman in red heels interrupts them both, telling him to just eat properly. There she is. She also cooked several things for him. Grilled oysters with green onions. I don't know if I've heard somewhere that oysters are an aphrodisiac. Is that so? The two look at each other, while the silver-haired girl says that whoever arrived first belongs to first place. And the other just says that men like new things. Did you understand the old witch? The place is apparently about to become a ring. They start to argue. They start to insult each other. One saying he's going to kill the other, while he was just wanting to have a decent meal, that's all. He can't even do that in peace. The two get a little closer to each other, and the woman begins to say that as long as she is there, she will not be successful. So, naturally, she's going to have to get rid of it. While the two fight there, the guy just leaves, saying that thank God his food arrived. But, out of nowhere, another girl. She greets him and asks if he is Rauhan. Nice to meet you. He takes her hand and asks who she is. She is just Miss Ball's personal secretary, and is there to invite her to the banquet that night. She smiles and says that even a suit was prepared exclusively for him, and he cannot refuse this proposal. Miss Ball? Who is this girl? But the other smiles and says that there aren't many Miss Balls in that city. Suddenly he knows that this is the so-called queen who rules over $1 billion in assets, the new CEO of Quanxing Group, Ball Pang. The girl left the suit and said, that's it. An armored car will pick him up at 6 p.m. She just says she won't bother him anymore and leaves. This guy had once applied for a job in the Qingsheng Group, but he didn't even get the chance to do the interview. Could it be because that lady is suddenly inviting him to a banquet today and even gave him a suit? He opens that box, still asking when things got out of the ordinary like this. He's suspicious of everything. Then he notices that it doesn't look like a suit. He has never seen so much money in his life. He won't be able to refuse this dinner now. That's it. That's all for today. I hope you liked it. If this video performs well, we will come back with the other parts. The work is very good. Some parts were a bit complicated, and other parts, let's say it was similar to another type of work. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.